In this transfer window, Newcastle United managed to bring in 3 players. Sandro Tonali from AC Milan in the region of between 50 to 60 million pounds. Harvey Barnes from Leicester City for just under 40 million pounds. And Tino Livramento from Southampton for also just under 40 million pounds. So far, you're looking in the region between 130 to 140 million pounds just on 3 players. And despite everything on the FFP, despite Newcastle United as a club going, well, you know what? We had to restrict our budget now. We had to be smart how we spend it. Despite everything that's went on, it still is looking like now Newcastle will bring in a 4th player on a permanent deal, Lewis Hall, for just in the region of 35 million pounds. The 18-year-old left-back from Chelsea. Originally, Chelsea actually wanted to loan Lewis Hall out to Crystal Palace. They did not want to sell him. They wanted to loan him out to a club that was deemed not a rival for them this season. Newcastle, the problem being with us is that Lewis Hall is a Newcastle United fan. He loves the club. He clearly has aspirations and desires to join the club. My personal opinion anyway, my perception I get looking at all the reports online, I believe Newcastle United has clearly spoken to the player, and now on the player side of things, he's enticed by us, he wants to leave, and he's almost lodging for that transfer himself. He's trying to push Chelsea to force the move. And due to Chelsea, the fact they've spent so many players, they've been about £1 billion in 2-3 windows or something like that. Despite how much money they have, they still have to work on the FFP. They still have to sell players. Even in this window, there's sort of good 12 players, but they still have to continue to get players out of that door in order for them to spend even higher next season. So, Lewis Hall, it's an opportunity now for the player to go to Newcastle. Chelsea won't keep a player that is desperate to move. It's just not in their best interest. They only want to sell to Newcastle on a permanent deal. They do not want to loan to us. So Newcastle now, in order to get this player, they have to sign him on a permanent. Now, we'll talk about the actual transfer structure in a bit, but it's looking good. I think there's going to be a double upload on this channel today. So a big heads up for me, guys. If you're new around here, make sure you get down there. You do not want to miss any uploads later today regarding this player. Smash that like button, subscribe if you're brand new. You do not want to miss any upcoming content because, well, personally for me, I think we will get Lewis Hall. I think it's looking in one direction now. Newcastle have got more updates this moment which are looking positive, but we began with Austin yesterday from the Athletic. He came out of an article out of nowhere saying that Newcastle can get this deal done. It is possible. Newcastle are looking into it. The player wants to join the club. He clearly wants to play for Newcastle. It's up to the 2 clubs now to agree a deal. So that came out last night. Then this morning, it got reported by Sky Sports saying that Newcastle have now put an official bid in to sign him on a permanent deal. So whatever money we see we have left, the truth is we can't afford this player. The opportunities came up now. Newcastle's put a bid in. I think it's probably going to take a couple of tries. Maybe we might go back and forth on the actual structure of the deal. But Newcastle are on the driving force. They look like they're going to get this deal done. They've clearly went in for the player. For me, I think this one will be quick. I think it'll happen 24, 48 hours. We'll find out loads about this guy. Now, it's going to be an interesting one. Now, in my personal opinion, actually, I generally think I actually am more comfortable with where the money's went with Lewis Hall and Amatine Liverman. So I think due to the fact that Hall's played a decent amount last season, looked promising, 18-year-old lad compared to Liverman, someone that picked up a major year-long injury, hasn't played at all. You've seen the scars in his tissue. I mean, he's one I'm not overly keen on because, well, you spent so much money on a guy that's had a massive injury, whereas Lewis Hall is someone that has been outstanding for Chelsea. I'll argue that he's better than Cucurella. I think he is. I think he's probably better than Tierney as well, due to the fact that Tierney's so injury prone now. You just can't rely on this guy anymore. Lewis Hall is fit. He's someone that's ready to play. In fact, he has Newcastle connections in his family, and he himself is a Newcastle fan. It's also a good incentive to get him in. But wow, what a sign this is. I think this is a real statement. You've been able to get a youngster from Chelsea. Chelsea, a team that, yes, isn't any European football this season, but still is one of the best teams in world football. You've been able to completely get him out of the club, convince him to go elsewhere. I think Newcastle is a serious pull power now. I think we can compete with the best of potentially bring some transfers in. It definitely still depends on a lot of factors. Newcastle, yes, are in the Champions League, but historically, we haven't won anything since '69. We haven't been in the cup final before last year since '99. We're still on a stage now where we have to prove stuff to players before bringing them in, which we aren't quite doing yet, but we will get there. It's just a slow burner. This one here, now is a major deal. I can't stress how good Lewis Hall is. I've watched a lot of him. I like him. I think he's a real deal, and I think for Newcastle to be able to get this one in despite the restrictions, the FFP restrictions, I think is phenomenal. I really do rate this guy. And I wanted to finish off by quickly discussing the actual potential of the deal. Now, it's been reported, some media, not all of it, but some of it, claiming that Chelsea have got a high sell-on fee in the close, which I think could make sense. Let's say Newcastle was to, in fact, sign for a little bit less, but all of a sudden, if Newcastle was to sell Lewis Hall, Chelsea's got a major 50% sell-on clause in the deal, which means that when Newcastle sell the player, Chelsea get half the money. So that's definitely a sort of possibility. I can see potential sell-on clauses, potential clauses in the deal where Chelsea just get more money from it. So definitely keep an eye on that. It was on the FFP. Newcastle are restricted somewhat. But I definitely think Chelsea, this one's going to happen. I think Chelsea will budge. I can't really say them keeping the player. He's desperate wanting to go to Newcastle. But that's just it for me anyway. If you don't mind, I'm going to go back to bed now. I'm clearly tired. I literally woke up, got this video done, I'm going back. So I'll see you in a couple of hours. I think something will happen. But let me know your thoughts down below. What do you guys think about this signing? For me, class. I'm so impressed with the signs we're being in this window. But take care, guys. I wish you all the best.